Hi, how's it going? Great to hear that. Unless, of course, you had something negative to say, in which case, turn that frown upside down. Anyways, with a new season of Go Battle League just starting, I figured now would be a good time to make this video. Having hit Legend 3 times at this point, this is more or less a video on some of the tips and tricks and just overall general advice I have for anyone who's working to hit Legend. Or, if you already have hit Legend, you may learn something, maybe not. Just enjoy the battles if that's the case. So, speaking of the battles, the video here is 2 sets. First set, I go negative, and the second set is a 5-0. This is my Legend run, and it's featuring a arguably spicy team. You don't see you don't see Skarmory or Crobat that often. You see a whole lot of Swampert. Both Skarmory and Swampert pair really nicely in the Great League, and arguably they work even better in the Ultra League, where they're both much bulkier. And then Crobat functions as a very useful safe swap. It tends to draw out whatever Skarmory is weak to. As you can see, I'm playing in the Ultra League Premier. You can also see I'm not doing so hot in this first battle, which that's the nature of Go Battle League. You win some, you lose some. I've found this team to be pretty consistent though. But the team itself, while it is really fun to use, that's not really what we're going to be talking about today. Maybe in a future video I'll make some other videos featuring teams that I really like to play. But for now, the advice I'm going to give is a little more on the psychological end of things, not so much on your standard counting moves and count the move, catch on the charge move. Everyone, you've heard it a million times. So, I did stick in a second battle, or an extra battle, we'll call it a bonus battle, against a very similar team. We'll call it expectation versus reality. So, this reality here, here's what I expected it to go like. This is just a real quick, fun battle. Just same lead, terrible lead for Swampert. Can't catch on the Skarm, but that's no big deal. I'll just shield the Shadow Ball. Okay, into the Skarmory. Is it gonna be a Bubble Beam? It's a Bubble Beam. And there's the classic Alola Ninetales in the back. But you see, who runs Flash Cannon? No one runs Flash Cannon. I like Flash Cannon. Good game. Anyway, into the first very important thing you need to know if you're trying to hit Legend. I'm sure most people who already have hit Legend are fully aware of this, but you really need to acknowledge how flawed of a game Go Battle League is. And don't be discouraged. It happens to everyone. That's just the nature of the game. It has many flaws. Will they fix it? Will it eventually run perfectly smoothly? I hope so. It's a very well-made game in terms of the rules. The only complaint I personally have is the damage from one-turn fast moves registering before the charge move. I've lost lots of games on the charge move because they get a Dragon Breath in or something and it finishes off my Pokemon, but that's a whole another rant for another day. Overall, the framework is extremely well thought out. Again, it's just I assume, server-related lag or that type of thing that ends up causing a lot of these headaches. And again, it happens to everyone. You're just going to have to deal with it and acknowledge it's a work in progress in many ways. I do hope that someday it works flawlessly. It'll be really awesome to see. Anyway, moving into the second piece of advice I have, and for me, this is hands down the most instrumental factor in hitting legend, and that is knowing the conditions in which you perform the best. Just knowing what it is, what and when, and how you play the best. Personally, I do the best about an hour or so after waking up in the morning, ideally with something caffeinated, my favorite being Mountain Dew, but really any other soda. And then I sit in the same spot on my couch, looking back there. You can tell where I sit after about 6,000 battles. That part of the couch is much more deformed than the rest. And then also, I like to play music. Normally something melodic, just with a steady beat, something that just sort of helps you to both drown out outside sounds and also help you to kind of count. I don't really count moves per se, but the rhythm sort of helps me to, I guess, estimate the enemy's energy. That's a whole other thing to go into. So, it really is big figuring out what time of day you play the best, be it at night, in the morning, just whenever, and find out where. It took me a while to figure out, exactly where to play and when and how I'll do the best. One place I don't do too well is at my parents' house. Last time I was there, I was both trying to win a battle and also fighting my little brother who was trying to reset the internet at the same time because something about League. I don't really play League of Legends. Downloaded it, tried one game, didn't understand it, but something about resetting the internet if you get kicked out or something, you can rejoin the game. I'm not sure. I'm also not sure about the Gyarados matchup here. I don't know why it was why it is so sped up. I feel like I broke something, and I'm pretty new to this, and I think if I try to fix it, I'll just end up breaking it even more, so we'll just leave that as it is. Into the next bit of advice I have, and that is knowing when you shouldn't play. Arguably, it's even more important than knowing the best times to play. I'm sure most people watching this video are fully aware of the phrase or the concept of being tilted, but oftentimes, if you are doing bad and you're in a bad mood, it'll just become a negative feedback loop there. We'll just keep doing worse and worse. So, oftentimes it's better to just turn off the game. Just call it quits for the day or the night. Or play later. Take a break. I really struggle with this personally. I think it has to do with my overly positive mindset. Even though I'm super pissed off for some reason, I'll just keep trying to queue up again and thinking that something's gonna change. Suddenly I'll play much better when that's really not the case. This is one way that'll just absolutely kill your score. And again, that's one thing I really struggled with and I had to sort of figure out for myself before I could really hit Legends, is just figuring out when to turn it off. That also leads back to the ideal conditions. So, I tend to rage a lot, and playing Go Battle League in public is not the best thing. Just picture me screaming at my phone in public. That happens. Don't know if I'll stream very much in the future. Maybe, maybe not. Just expect some rage. Again, everyone has a bad day, and you just need to know when to turn it off and when to call it quits. Speaking of calling it quits, come on, opponent. Really? Why? Why are you dragging this out? Here's a little side tip. If you know you're gonna lose, just save everyone some time. But the first set is nearly over, and I've made it through most of what I had to say. I suppose I should have just done this over the final 5 battles, but oh well. I feel like these were some pretty good. I wasn't necessarily winning, but they were at least entertaining, I feel like. They're all pretty close there. And here's me not playing the ABB team as an ABB team. I should have immediately swapped out, and we will see later on why I should have. This is the final battle of the set, and spoiler, I don't win. So we'll just let that play out and then get back to it. So, are you liking the art? I went all arts and crafts up on this this here graphic. Went to Target, bought some markers, used a pencil, worked really hard on Skarmory, took a picture of it. Looked like just, well, I promise it looks much better on paper than it does on the video here. Same with Swampert, and then Crobat, I admit I half-assed. I kinda just rushed to that one. The Swampert actually has much better shading. The white parts are not white on paper, but couldn't figure out how to, I don't know, keep that and then also make this graphic over here. Again, I'm new at this. Guess I need to figure out Photoshop or something next. But this is the first set. Only 2 wins. Dropped my score. And that's just the nature of Go Battle League. Right back into it, right back into the next one. And we're going into my final bit of advice here. Number 5, or 4, possibly 6. I haven't really been counting, but one thing I think that hinders a lot of players as they approach Legend is themselves. If you have anxiety, then listen up. You're going to get right up to 2950, 2970, hell, 2990. Guess what? You're going to lose. You're going to tank. It's going to go down. Then you'll work your way back up again, back up to the 2900s, and you very well could tank again. It's going to keep happening. It's not a one-time thing. You have, I wouldn't say an infinite shot, or an infinite amount of shots, but you have many chances, especially with the extended seasons. With the seasons being as long as they are these days, it is much easier in a lot of senses. There's a lot more leeway. You have many more chances, especially as the season kind of goes on, because the further in to the season you go, how should I put this? Something about tide and, what is it? It's the high tide raises all ships or whatever. The point I'm trying to make is, the very best battlers, the kids that are just going to keep pushing you down and just absolutely stomping on your neck, by the end of the season, they're sitting at like 3,600, 37, maybe 39. I don't know if anyone's ever gone all the way up to 3,900 ELO, but you'll do it more and more, and you will gain more confidence. and the people you're going to go up against as the season drags on, they tend to be a little bit lower caliber. And again, if you can make it all the way to the 2900s, you 100% can hit Legend. It might take you a little while, but it's entirely within the realm of possibility. The first time I ever hit Legend, it was, I believe, my 5th attempt. And I'm not just talking about, oh, it was at 2990 and I dropped back down to 2950 or something. No, I'm talking 10, maybe less ELO, like 7 or something. Then back to getting tilted and raging, dropping all the way back down to the 2700 range. Then working my way back up, and then falling back down to the 27s. And then back up to the 2900s. Just one more set and I got it. And then tanking again. It's going to happen. Just, again, know when to turn off the game. That's something I struggle with. I have the mindset of just, alright, I suppose that's, what is that? The gambler's mindset of, nope, next hand. I know I'm deeply in debt, but that's this next one. That's going to be the one. Don't do that. It's a terrible mindset to have, and again, that's something I really struggled to break, but once I could and once I did, Legend it comes very easily now. And for those of you who don't think that you're going to hit Legend this season, you're still pretty new to Go Battle League, and somehow this is the first video you've ever stumbled across. Well, unlucky you, I guess I should say, first off, but second, just battle as much as you can. Gain as much experience as you possibly can. That's one of the most important things, is just knowing which matchups. Sure, you can simulate it and you can look it up and all of that, but really, just experience is the number one thing. I had mentioned that I don't count quick moves earlier, or do any of that. This is like all the catches and things I've been doing these battles. That's entirely just experience. I just have a feel for what energy they're at, like this Crobat. It's a cross chop. It's not going to be the rock slide. Could I consciously tell you that, when I was doing the battle? No. I just had a feeling. It's just what it is. That just comes from experience. Again, I can count the very beginning moves, but it seems like I'm calling a lot of baits and making a lot of really nice plays. A lot of it is me just relying on the opponent to bait or build up to the energy, etc. I almost just use other people's talent against them, or their own hard work, their own diligence. And team comp, right here. Team comp's a big one too. I do like figuring out which teams are just sort of easy mode. This one here, if you can afford it, it's easy mode. And this battle. So, didn't actually record that one. I promise it was actually the most epic battle of the entire video. Sorry you missed it. Seeing as I needed a 5-0 to hit Legend, I was a little more focused on the battles than if they were actually recording. And then, what's another thing? I guess find your league. I prefer both Great League, just the standard Great League, not any of these cups or whatever, just normal Great League, and Ultra League Premier. Those two I'm hands down the best at, which, again, you can see, it seems like I'm making all these amazing calls or plays or what have you. It's just experience. They're just the ones I like. I'm really not a fan of rock, paper, scissors. I'm sorry, Master League. I don't really like Master League very much. There's not enough options, I guess I should say, for that one. But, again, every time I've hit Legend, it's been with that Skarmory. And every time it's been a different team. But I've always had Skarmory on it. Again, it's one of my favorites. And speaking of my team, learn your team. Learn exactly how much damage your individual Pokemon can take. This is huge in just every aspect of the game, from calling baits to knowing if you'll survive and get off a charged move. And this really does make the difference between a win and a loss. So, we're coming to the end of the video here. One of my favorite matchups, the Politoed. I'm glad that this season Weather Ball was nerfed. It's been a little bit obnoxious. And as someone who really never used anything that had Weather Ball, I never really benefited from it. So, I'm okay with it. I'm sure there's a lot of salt, but again, 5 damage is hardly noticeable. And here we go. Stacking Sky Attacks. And then the White Knuckle farm down. Luckily I had that shield saved, so he had to build up to 2. I hope you enjoyed these battles, and hopefully you learned something useful. Oh, one bonus tip as I try really hard to catch this Stunfisk. Have fun. At the end of the day, it's just a game. It can be frustrating at times, but again, if you're not having fun and you're not enjoying yourself, what are you doing? And here I'm fed up and hitting that excellent with a golden Raz to finally get the damn thing. And there we go. Legend. Thanks for watching. See ya.